Hello and welcome to the Kaiju is in the Details, a chronological examination of the Kaiju film. I'm Ian.
I'm Haru.
And this time, we've got a little bit of a spooky horror movie for you because it's Halloween time.
Yay!
It's 1958's The H-Man by Ishiro Honda. No giant monsters in this one, though. What'd you think of this film, Haru?
It was a fun one. It had an intriguing plot.
This one was definitely more kaiju as in strange creature than kaiju as in big monster.
Yeah, it was a little more reminiscent of them a little bit, although them
Yeah,
at least had like giant ants, but
that's
like,
true. But it does also end in
like
the sewer.
yeah, it ends in the sewer. Like that's where they kill the kaiju or
Although at least
try to.
this one
Spooky.
this one doesn't dissolve into collective protagonist as much.
Yeah, they still stick with like their fixed characters and their various roles in their plot.
And it's really because of this gangster plot that's going on throughout the whole movie that they're able to do
Yeah.
that.
And so like the thing is like the thing with the whole gangster plot, there are points in the movie where I feel like this doesn't even need to be a kaiju movie. It could just be like some gangster cop conspiracy movie thing.
Yeah.
But like
But also I feel
and
like
then
the kaiju
yeah,
stuff really adds to it though.
it
Cuz
does.
otherwise it's just kind of this bog standard gangster versus cop movie. But the kaiju angle not only adds like a commentary on atomic weaponry and atomic testing, but it also adds this ACAB angle
Mm-hmm.
because the cops are fucking annoying in this film.
Yeah.
They're so fucking annoying.
And they love to
Deny what's in front of their fucking faces.
yeah, and they also love to just barge in on women.
Oh my god, they do so much barging in. Did you not need a warrant in 1950s Japan? Is that not a thing?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert on that angle of Japanese history.
Yeah, they're like storming into places and going, "Hey, you have a TV. How'd you buy that TV?" And to be fair, at that point, a TV in 1958 Japan would have been actually pretty expensive. But like,
Yeah.
she's just a cabaret dancer. Like, what the fuck? Cabaret dancers make a lot of money. Or she's not even a cabaret dancer. She's a cabaret singer. She's the headliner.
Yeah, she's like their lead. Um
So if you've ever played a Yakuza game, this this movie's for you. It's got cabaret, it's got gangsters, it's got bastard police, and it also has some very wet monsters.
By the way, unrelated to like kind of the movie itself, but um I just have to say I love the whole setting in the like in the club with the live band. It's just such a cool thing, and I once did a bit of a like class research paper on like the jazz scene in Japan in like
Mm,
a Japanese culture class, and that was a fun thing to research. Like jazz
yeah.
is surprising. Like I was surprised by how popular jazz is in Japan. It's not something you would really associate with Japanese culture and society, but like it had a bit of a holding in Japan.
Yeah, they took it on very strongly. Um, and particularly in the cabaret scene.
Mhm.
Um, and like it's funny because like all the dancers in the club are like really bad
Yeah.
at dancing. They don't really seem very into it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, And our lead, or our leading lady, I mean, who is also the lead like headliner of the show and that's the singer at the cabaret, uh, isn't actually singing. That's dubbed over, obviously. Like it's
Mhm.
very obviously dubbed over.
Yeah, I was kinda wondering about that because, like, it it just seemed too natural English for that to be
Yeah,
actually the actress.
it also like doesn't really line up with the way that she is mouthing the words. She's mouthing the words quite well. It's just it doesn't quite. You
Mhm.
can. It's very obviously not. Um, so our leading lady is Yumi Shirakawa. But her voice when she's singing is a Japanese jazz starlet, Martha Miyake.
Ooh.
So that's like that's like that part. But then I was like, well, yeah, it would be kind of hard for like just a random actress to like dance to bebop, like do like choreography to bebop, right? That's a
Mhm.
really hard thing to dance to in a choreographical style. It's made to be frenetic music. So you know what? I'll give him a little pass on that. There is a
Yeah.
lot of it though. For how bad they are at doing it. There is a lot of it. I guess naked girls. You know what could be what could go wrong with
Yeah.
that? Our lead
I
isn't
mean,
naked, but everyone else is. All the other cabarets are.
yeah, I mean, I would be lying if I said that, there were my eyes were not drawn to, the like,
What you weren't checking
to
out the
the
band?
no, I was watching the pretty dancers.
I was checking out the band to make sure to see what instruments they were playing. By the way, it's drummer, piano, alto sax, tenor sax. Very interesting combo. No
Hmm.
trumpet, no brass at all. It's just all woodwinds and the piano and a drum set. That drummer sure can play though.
Mhm.
The guy was going crazy with it. Um, yeah, this film is really like a snapshot of like the culture of the era in a way, which I find interesting.
Yeah.
Especially like the more seedy parts of Japanese culture. Like obviously, I'm not expecting it to be accurate on the gangster shit. That's
Mhm.
nobody was going to be accurate about that time, but like this like the whole cabaret scene just being like kind of captured in a filmic way is interesting at least. Um,
Yeah.
and then at the same time, there's this underlying nuclear fear under everything.
Mhm.
Well, it's also like there's this fear of gangs, and there's also this fear of this rising crime wave of like these gangs, yakuza, I assume, um, and they're drug running. But also, there's just these fucking bastard ass cops who don't do anything. They're
Mhm.
too busy dealing with this drug war that they don't actually see anything else. Like our professor, our main character, the professor guy who kind of doesn't show up for a while. It's weird. He's the main character, but he doesn't feel like the main character. I would say.
Mhm.
Like honestly, the our lead cop kind of feels like more the main character, but it's definitely the professor that is though, right? Because he hits the girl,
Yeah.
and he kind of takes over the lead character position halfway through the film. It's like they trade off as he gets more and more insistent. But like he tells the police like investigator like, "Hey, there's a chunk of a boat that's covered in radioactive fallout. Could you fucking quarantine that shit for me, my dog?" And the inspector's like, "No, I'm too busy."
Yeah.
It's like even if you don't believe him that there's radioactive people melting people, uh the he's like telling like, "Hey, there's children playing with this radioactive boat. Could you please quarantine that shit?" And he says, "No." What are we doing?
Well, cops gotta eat their donuts, and and
He really wanted to
harass
go eat his
women.
donut. It was crazy.
On that note, like I mention occasionally throughout these episodes how like there are varying themes on um sort of the conflict between the police and science or the military and science. Like, scientists kind of want to take a different approach to what the
mhm.
military and or police want to take. And this movie, yet again, kind of plays on that
Oh,
trope.
this one very
And
directly does.
yeah, it kind of cranks it up to 11.
Yeah, like we just have like direct quotes like that's the difference between a scientist and a policeman.
Hmm.
And the difference being that like scientists are looking for every possibility and policemen just kind of decide something is not the case and don't go for that.
Yeah.
They kind of decide things and then never change their mind.
Hmm.
Which is interesting. An interesting read.
Yeah.
I think this movie is kind of fascinating in some ways, and then also in other ways it's kind of not very well crafted.
Yeah.
I feel like parts of it kind of fall apart a little bit here and there. Apparently in the American cut of this movie, and like a dub version of it, they dropped some of the drug running stuff, and I'm wondering if
Hmm.
that's like if that was actually like a good idea or not. I'm not sure, because like at times the drug running stuff kind of just feels like it's not doing anything.
Hmm.
Like it's not even that it's just bad or anything, or like it's not the monster part of the movie or whatever. It just kind of feel like it's kind of spinning its wheels. Um, Particularly the chase scene, when the last remaining gangster uh kidnaps the leading lady. And then what ensues is the most boring chase scene of all time.
Yeah.
They're traveling up to at speeds of up to 10. I swear to God, if she had opened the car and stepped out, she would have been fine. She could have walked out of the car. and
Yeah.
and the way the kidnapping happens is just that the gangster guy shows up just before the other guy shows up. The professor does, and the house, the lady of the house or whatever, or the apartment complex or whatever it is, decides that that must be the professor and goes and tells her, and then she just gets in the car without looking who's in the car. Like, so many things had to go wrong there for that to work.
Yeah.
Why was that his plan? Why was that his plan? And how did it work?
Because that's how the plot was written.
It really, there's a lot of this movie that's just like, well, yeah, that happens because that's the way the movie was written. More so than like I'm willing to accept in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, the criminal is doing something really clever actually, which is that he does this at first, like he removes all his clothes and then leaves because the H-men don't dissolve clothes; they just dissolve all the flesh and eat that. And the
Mhm.
clothing is left. Very clever that the guy escapes that way, and very clever that they find out he didn't get eaten because they tested for radiation and there's no radiation there. Very clever. I like that.
Mhm.
Then when he's in the sewer with the leading lady who he's kidnapped, uh, was it her Chikase, I think? Um, he has her strip a little bit, not fully because this is a not that kind of movie. Because
Mhm.
he gets interrupted is why, but because he's doing the same trick to make them think that she was eaten by the H-men. And then her clothing just like the clothing that she leaves behind gets washed out of the sewer just as the professor and the cop are looking at the entrance to the sewer for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally no reason why they stop to look. They just do. And that bothers me. That's a little too far. Look, I don't like to CinemaSins ding these movies, you know, but that one kind of gets to me. You're asking too much of me, I feel like, at that point. But I mean, like, when you ignore some of those parts, you maybe cut some of those down. Maybe the movie is a little bit more, like, I feel like, tight. I feel like this film could just use a little bit more editing down and be a much tighter film, and I think that would really serve it better.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the American version actually might be better in this case. I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's significantly different enough that we'll actually check it out separately as its own episode. But let me actually check my list to make sure I'm not lying when I say that. I don't think I have it on here twice. No, I do not. Thank God. What'd you think of the music?
It was all right. Not the most spectacular music, but it was, very fitting for the film.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. It was very serviceable. I would say better than the average stock film library from the American films we've been listening to, but worse than
Yeah.
an Ifukube score. This score was actually by Masaru Sato, who we've actually heard before, both in Half Human, the Yeti film from Ishiro Honda, and Godzilla Raids Again, which I think his score for Godzilla Raids Again is much better than the score here, but this one was much more understated as well. It didn't really come up as often,
Mm-hmm.
so I wonder if that's part of it. We will hear from him yet again, as he does 3 other Godzilla films as well. So we'll be coming back to him, but although his later ones, he's going to take on a little bit of a different musical style, and I like that style a lot more from him, and I can't wait to share it with you. For our cast, let's just go down the line here. The inspector, Tominaga, is Akihiko Onoda, sorry. And you know the man, he's from the Mysterians. He's from Godzilla, the original Godzilla. He's Dr. Serizawa.
Yeah.
He's got such a recognizable face. It's like, what's the best way to describe it? Oddly rectangular.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting though, because all of his roles are kind of very different. Like this time he's playing a police inspector. Last time, he was like a scientist that was on the wrong side, and then before that he was on the scientist that's conflicted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a variety of roles.
Mm-hmm. Our lead here is Kenji Sahara. He is playing Dr. Masada, and he was also the lead in Rodan.
Oh.
So we've also seen him before. Our leading lady is Yumi Shirakawa, as I mentioned before. She was also in Rodan, and I don't know if we'll see her again. Let's see here. Oh, we saw her in Mysterians. She was in Mysterians as well. And I don't think we'll see her. Oh, Goroth. I think we'll see her in Goroth. Yeah, we'll see her in Goroth. We have Makoto Sato as Uchida. Makoto Sato has been in 10 million things. It's so many that I don't see anything I recognize here from our list. I don't think we'll be seeing him again.
So maybe he stars in a lot of non-kaiju stuff, and
yeah, I think his feel, because he's got a particular look to him that makes him, I think, more popular in the gangster films. So this is kind of a little crossover here between the kaiju film and the gangster film, you know.
We've had a Western kaiju film and a gangster kaiju film.
The rest of the cast is not particularly notable, except for, of course, Haru Nakajima, yet again, showing up in one of the Ishiro Honda's monster movies, and yet again, playing the monster. So the guy in the monster suit is Haru Nakajima. I think it's Haru Nakajima in all the I think what they did was to make the multiple slime monsters at the very end of the movie was just overlaying Haru on it twice. um, he also plays second dissolved sailor.
Hmm.
So if you're wondering what he actually looks like outside of the mask, just look for second dissolved sailor. That's him. Speaking of the effects, though, what do you think of these effects, Haru?
They're definitely interesting for the time.
Hit or miss, I'd say. Hit or
I
miss.
I don't think they hold up particularly well, honestly. Like, I mean, the fire effects were kinda cool, but, like, the monster effects were just kinda like, eh.
So yeah, the monster basically is just Haru Nakajima in like a weird blue rubber outfit that looks kind of amorphous, and then it's superimposed over the image to give it more of a ghostly, translucent look to it.
Mhm.
Um, and then like a lot of effects in the movie are kind of just they'll just freeze the image, so they'll just take a still from the last part of a scene and then draw over that to make animation, like animate a goo happening.
Yeah.
And the fire is also just like fire that was placed over it, but it looks actually pretty well. Like it works out pretty well. It looks pretty decent. The overlaying effect for the fire, but that's because fire
Mhm.
kind of looks like that anyways.
Yeah.
It's an easy thing to overlay on top of something because fire kind of already looks like it's being overlaid on top of something.
Mhm.
Um, Now, what I like about the effects are the melting effects. I think the melting effects look awesome.
Yeah.
So the melting effects are done with. I'm pretty sure it's soap, just like kind of a soapy kind of thing, making the bubbles happen.
Hmm.
Some sort of like mild chemical reaction. But the really cool one, the really fucking cool one, is the dissolving people effect. For
Mhm.
that, they use life-size inflatable human figures and
Huh.
deflated them, and then filmed that in fast motion, and then played it at normal speed. So,
That's interesting.
so they just made it this deflating human figure like look like a person just being melted.
Mhm.
And you know what? It fucking looks like a person being melted.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of it for effects. It's a light on the toku in this tokusatsu. Not much
Mhm.
effects going on here. Like we said, it's kind of just like it's half a gangster film, half a kaiju film, and then like I literally mean like there is like about half of the movie is this gangster film plot, but also it's just not a very compelling gangster film plot. There's not
Yeah.
like we don't really establish the characters very well. We don't really focus on the characters very well. It's just the police trying to catch them, but they're not like trying to catch them in what they're doing. It's just literally trying to physically capture them. And they don't. They don't ever capture them. The H-men just devour each and every one of them. I guess they capture a few at the cabaret in like the stupidest sting operation ever.
Mhm. Yeah, like I mean, the gangster plot basically just exists to um, drive the main plot for
Yeah.
the cops to come across the whole mystery of like, oh, people are melting and disappearing in water.
Yeah, it kind of begs the
Um,
question of like why is this a gangster film in the first place?
yeah, like I feel like if they went all in on the gangster theme, it would have probably come out better.
Yeah, but it might not have
Um,
meshed as well either. I'm not sure.
yeah,
Might have been too like conflicting. I don't know. It's hard to say on that front, I would say.
yeah,
It's crazy. We just don't really have much to say in this one.
yeah,
There's just not really much to this one until we start talking about themes, I guess. So maybe we should just go ahead and start talking about themes, maybe. I don't know.
yeah.
Um
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I was thinking of just kind of addressing the whole like nuclear testing
yeah.
because like this this movie has a very captivating opening of just like a nuclear explosion and then like a ship that goes missing out at sea that seemed to be somewhat involved in nuclear testing. Um
It's the same opening as Godzilla. It's another Lucky Dragon reference.
yeah. And then what's kind of interesting is like the way the movie wraps up everything at the very end. There's like a quote about how like first of all, like when they end up destroying all the H-men or whatever, like the guy gives a speech of how like, well, I can't guarantee they won't come back. And then there's like a line at the very end about how like if humanity destroys itself with nuclear bombs, it's very possible that the H-men will be like the next dominant species.
Yeah, which is weird, right? Because like
Yeah.
the H-men like are just a product of the nuclear bomb.
Yeah, it's honestly something that, like I mean, I guess like what's it really trying to say with that line delivery? Because, like yeah, like you said, the H-men are just, the result of the nuclear bomb, and so
And so that final line just doesn't really make any sense.
yeah.
Like if it's like, oh, we have to stop nuclear testing or else we'll all become H-men. That's something I can like. It's not
Mhm.
true, but like in the case of the movie, it is.
Yeah.
I get the implication, right? It's like if you don't stop nuclear testing, we'll all be radiation poisoned, right? That
Mhm.
that's something true, yeah, right? At least to a certain extent. Um,
Yeah.
and so I like that would make more sense, but instead it's like, when humans die, H-men will inherit the earth.
Yeah.
And it's just like, are we are we sure that's what this is about? Are you sure about that movie?
Yeah, it feels like the line was just kinda delivered
It
for
feels
the
like it
sake
was
of
thrown in.
being a dramatic line,
How do we
like
finish this movie? Let me just throw something together real quick. I feel like it would have just been more effective if they just left it.
Yeah,
Just leave it on the scene of Tokyo burning. Cuz like
yeah,
after the sewer is lit up in flames, the entire city is in flames
mhm.
because of the flames coming out of the sewers and the fact that Tokyo is extremely burnable, as we have learned many a time.
Yeah,
And
and
I was like, oh, so like the ending of the movie is like, oh, all the consequences of the nuclear testing is that Tokyo is in flames again, right?
mhm. Yeah, that sends a much better message than whatever the hell that line was trying to say.
But have you thought about how when humans are extinct, the H-men will inherit the earth? Have you thought about that, Haru?
Uh, maybe.
I haven't. I'm still not.
Um, but yeah, actually, like yeah, addressing the whole fire plot, like, it kinda makes like, at first when they were like, "Oh, we'll burn the H-men with gasoline and that'll, like, kill them." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure, that's their solution." And then, like, once they started actually doing it, I'm like, "Wait, wait, 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 wait. They're doing what now?"
They're gonna do what now? They're
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 just
they're pouring gasoline into the entire sewer system of Tokyo and setting it all on fire?
like, did they think this through?
Surely they could just go through there and like take some flamethrowers to them, right? I guess they wouldn't
Because,
know if they
like
got them all, but I don't know if they know how
because,
many there
like,
were.
as a country, Japan, more than most other countries, has a very good reason to be very cautious around fire, and they just dump gasoline in the sewers. Like,
Yeah, just do it. Just dump the gasoline.
and, like, probably that was just kind of there for plot reasons, although, I don't maybe they were trying to say something about, kind of the tragedy of us trying to of us having to face the consequences of nuclear testing.
Yeah. I mean, it does
Um,
seem like a strange way to kill liquid people, right? This fire.
yeah, because we've all played Pokemon, and
Yeah,
water types are
exactly.
definitely weak to fire types. Um,
Drew.
um, but yeah, and also there's I think there is a more likely thing that they were trying to address, which is just kind of, do the ends really justify the means? Like, is it really worth burning down the city to just to get rid of these mutant creatures that are killing everyone?
Yeah. But the triumphant music that's playing while it happens seems to say, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, the ends do justify the means.
Like, it's very triumphant music. I can't get over that. It's so bizarre. It's such a bizarre choice from Sato. I don't know
Mhm.
why it's scored that way. Like, it makes me wonder if because like, that's the song that shows up multiple times in the film. It makes me wonder if it was just used there. But like, if that's the case, then that makes it feel like it's Ishiro Honda's decision, or maybe just the editor. But like, surely Ishiro Honda has like final say on that. I mean, maybe he didn't. I don't
Mhm.
know. It just feels very strange to me. That is, we're like ending with Tokyo on fire, and there's this triumphant music. Like, we did it, we success. And maybe it's supposed to be ironic, but it doesn't feel that way.
It's like this. It's like the SpongeBob meme. We did it, Patrick. We saved the city.
Like literally, the rivers of Tokyo are on fire. We saved everything. It's very strange. And then like, there is also this disconnect, like we were saying, this conflict between scientist and police. But like, the movie's not actually able to come out to you and say police are bad directly.
Mhm.
The police are absolutely the problem in this movie, but by the end of the movie they come around and they're fine and they're helping, and you really have to have someone to stop those evil drug dealers.
Yeah.
It feels like the movie kind of gets lost in its themes halfway through a little bit,
Yeah, it's like it's kind of building up to something.
to like multiple somethings, and then it just kind of drops all of them.
Yeah.
Like, it's juggling a bunch of themes, and then it like trips on a bowling pin that it dropped. And then
Yeah.
all the bowling pins smack it on the head as they fall.
Yeah, because there could be something to be said about the conflict between the police and the scientist, and oh, you're just a silly scientist. You don't know what you're talking about, or uh, uh, but
Mm-hmm.
then, to a certain degree, it's like, was that actually trying to address something about, the nuances of the conflicts between these different ideologies? Or is it just saying, we need conflict for the sake of conflict in this movie?
Yeah. I mean, as much as Ishiro Honda brings it up in every single movie, well, not every single movie. I guess Godzilla doesn't really have that conflict. Um,
Mhm.
it surely is something that is bubbling around in his mind, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like he definitely, like, Ishiro Honda definitely sides with scientists. I think the idea is that police are not in this the film's idea that police are not bad, but are misaligned.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the concept is not bad, but they are too stuck in their ways and their thoughts, right? And the only way forward is with science.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because, like, when we look at modern, if you look at modern, like, technology industry, there's a very cult-like aesthetic of this exact kind of thing. Where it's like, oh, science will just fix it. This is incredibly relevant because of, like, recent happenings on Blue Sky. Although by the time you listen to this episode, is no longer recent. Sorry about that.
Mhm.
Where, like, the people who are in charge of Blue Sky refuse to listen to the user base of it and ban bad actors because they believe in this thing called @protocol that they think will save the internet and let you make your own little gated community where you could ban whoever the hell you want. And then everyone else can have their own little gated community where they ban wherever the hell they want, instead of having a community, like a global community online. And it's just like, well, why would that be better? Well, because it's the technology that we're making. But why would that be better? Why would that actually be better? Well, it's the technology that we're making. As that's our goal, is to make this technology that we're making. And, like, it's technology for technology's sake. And I do kind of see some sort of echoes of this in Ishiro Honda, despite the fact that Ishiro Honda is not a scientist. He was just a director. He didn't actually invent anything, as far as I know, except for some advanced techniques in underwater filming. But, like, his techno optimism is something that's very easily corrupted into like a technology cult, like technological cult, some sort of religious psychosis of technology that we see a lot in the tech industry today. But, like, that was just kind of that really burns out of the 1950s and this, like, obsession with technology in the wake of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how all sci-fi films of this era kind of operate to an extent. But most American, like, I think there's a difference here is that a lot of American sci-fi films we've been watching, and some of the, I think maybe even some of the, although we haven't watched a lot of Japanese sci-fi films that don't involve Ishiro Honda yet, are kind of taking the opposite thing, where, like, science is a little scary, actually, and that's why we need the strong military.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of sitting here like, can't science be scary and also we not be like a strong military? And meanwhile, like, Ishiro Honda's kind of over here going, like, what if science isn't actually all that science is scary, but the only way to stop science is science. And also, like, a really strong military that's powered by science, but it's only used for, it's a peaceful military. And everyone in the world, I guess we haven't gotten to this part of the, so later movies, it'll be like some severe techno optimism where, like, all the world's governments are collaborating to make like a military equipment to fight monsters and space aliens. And, like, you did kind of see that with the Mysterians, right? The Mysterians'
Yeah.
Japanese name is just called Earth Defense Force. And, like, the planet kind of comes together to make this Earth Defense Force.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't hate that optimism either, right? I think that kind of optimism is perhaps necessary, right? I think it's good to be cynical. It's good to be skeptical. But a little bit of optimism doesn't hurt either. I'm just like, with this film in particular, because it's this gangster land film. Well, it's not a gangster land. That's a different thing. It's this gangster film. It feels different, right? It's not this military that's run by all the world governments collaborating to, like, defend us from monsters and aliens instead of using it to prosecute wars in random countries. Instead, it is just the cops.
Yeah.
That's not optimistic. That's just what we have already.
Mhm.
and we know that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, 1950s policing is probably even worse, especially in Japan. Well, especially in America, actually. Never mind.
Mm.
1950s policing is something else.
Yeah.
But in Japan, it would have also been pretty bad. And so when we have this like moment where the police realize that they were wrong the whole time, and then they just start working with the scientists. No, like the crazy thing is they don't even admit that they were wrong. Really, there's not really
Yeah.
like there's not like a scene where they have to admit that they're wrong. They were wrong. They just kind of
Yeah.
go like, "Okay, now we work with you, and you should be thanking me."
And I do think that kind of wraps back around to how the ending just everything kind of falls apart
Yeah.
theme-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it was like, if the movie was actually all in on its themes to the very end, then there would have to be some sort of, like, them coming to realize, "Oh, we were in the wrong the whole time, but we gotta work together now."
Like they don't
Um,
ever apologize for how rude they were to the scientist guy.
yeah.
There's not even a bow of of respect at all. Like literally that line I said where they were like, "You should be thanking me." That's literally what he said. Like
Mhm.
as once they start working together, he's like, "You should be thanking me." Like what? You should be thanking him. What the fuck are you talking about? Very very strange. I'm just like I'm not sure what this. The film is clearly trying to say something, but I'm not sure what it is it's trying to say.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think the main takeaway theme-wise is that, like, it is trying to build up to some kind of message, but then it loses itself in the thrill of the action.
Yeah, and the action isn't even that great.
Mhm.
Like the action of this movie, like the good parts of this movie are the suspense. Once it gets to like
Mhm.
being action time, it is like kind of bad.
Yeah, like, it really has them vibes
Yeah,
in that the whole investigation part of the film is the best part of the film.
and then because of the way they are doing the monsters can't actually fight very well. It's
Yeah.
the same thing with them. Like them ants can't move very well, so the fight scenes look like nothing.
Mhm.
The them or the H men aren't even on scene with everyone else. So unless they're in goo form, in like full on goo form, which I think that's another thing we didn't mention in the effects part. The full on goo form actually does look good. It reminds me
Yeah.
of the movie The Blob, which is probably something we'll be taking a look at later down the line. Uh, and so we have like a problem here of like there's we're trying to like wrap up this gangster plot and this kaiju plot, kaiju in the strange creature sense,
Mhm.
and we just don't have any good action. And like both of those genres rely on action to wrap up their plots.
Yeah.
It makes me like I wonder. Let's see here. Let me take a look at something because um, you know who I'm not seeing in any of the credits here? Oh wait,
Who?
there we go. Never mind. I was about to say Eiji Tsuburaya. No, he is doing the special effects on this one still.
Hmm.
Weird that maybe he was just busy with something else at the time. Maybe there's something else more important for him to work on. I mean, literally the same exact year, we're gonna be watching another movie with actual kaiju stuff going on, like a full-on suit, from the same
Oh.
studio, Varan. Let's see here. Also directed by Ishiro Honda. and also Eiji Tsuburaya.
Oh, there you go.
So like they were both they were both doing something else at the same time, which was Varan.
That probably explains why a lot of this movie falls flat towards the end. It's probably because this was more of a B project.
Maybe because like look, if you look at the dates of release, H-Man released in June 24 of 1958, and Varan released October 14th. So that's a gap of like how many months? It's October currently. September, August, July, June. 4 months? You can't make a movie in 4 months. So they must have been producing both of these at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like they must have been. And The Mysterians was just last year in December. And that also featured Ishiro Honda and I believe Eiji Tsuburaya. So like if you're making 3 movies at the same time, even though like we've established before, there are 2 directors essentially here, Eiji Tsuburaya and Ishiro Honda. 3 movies in the same in a year span, less than a year span. That's a lot to undertake.
Yeah, it's honestly just an example of actually pretty early on, like the movie industry was very, it had a lot of deadlines, it had a lot of presumably crunch. Like
Yeah.
there had to have been nights where just they got no sleep because they were focused on getting this movie together,
Yeah, if I remember
so that they
correctly,
could make
Ishiro
room for
Honda's
another.
if I remember correctly, Ishiro Honda's wife would actually help with the editing. I think she was actually like an editor. Don't quote me on that one though. I read the biography of Ishiro Honda. It's a really good book.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that right there is really illustrative of like very early on. We're only 2 Godzilla movies in, right? 3 if you want to count Rodan, because Rodan eventually gets sucked into this circle, and Varan as well does later on. We haven't gotten the Varan quite yet. We'll get that next episode. Um, but like we're already just a couple years into Godzilla starting to really hammer the shit over the head. And this is why we're going to end up with Kaiju Burnout, and why Ishiro Honda is eventually going to get burnout himself on all of this. He doesn't have time for his personal projects when he's just constantly doing Kaiju films, and eventually almost exclusively Godzilla films.
Yeah.
So like this is the early warning signs here.
Mhm.
Like this movie I feel like is early warning signs, just like in how it's kind of fucked.
Yeah, it's like this industry of these writers and these artists are really trying to, say something with their art, but like the nature of the industry just focused on pumping out as much content as we can to make as much money as we can leads the artists kind of lacking because there's not enough time for them to say what they want to say. They have to move on to the next project.
Yeah.
It's kind of tragic.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is why eventually Ishiro Honda will quit directing until Akira Kurosawa is able to convince him to come back to work on some of his projects. But we're a ways away from that. I guess any like last things here. I do want to mention one thing. The actual name of this movie is not the H-Men. That's the English version, the English name of the movie. The Japanese name is Beauty and the Liquid People. A Beauty, of course, being our leading lady, and then the Liquid People being the H-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like weird, like a little homage to Beauty and the Beast, but like doesn't really have anything to do with Beauty and the Beast. I think it's just like I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Bijo to Ekitai-ningen. Like it's just directly that Beauty and the Liquid People. I've got quotes from the subtitles, of course. When we're talking about these films, like we really have to rely on the subtitles being like decent. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
but here's what we got at least. this is the police talking to each other after they let the leading lady go. Letting her go? She's very pretty. Misaki won't let her go. It's like there's just like yeah, she's pretty, so obviously the gangster won't leave her behind. So we'll definitely find them. And then here's a really good one. This one's so awesome. The scientist, our professor, comes to the police with his findings. This is the first time he does. And he's like, okay, so you know the case of the guy who disappeared and left all his clothing there? If there was a particular phenomenon that melted away just the body, wouldn't that explain the situation? Isn't that just awesome? Just like coming up to the police. Well, what if his body melted?
Yeah.
Have you thought about that? Have you thought about if his body melted? The one of our bad guys comes to the leading lady's house and is like trying to press her for information about where Misaki is. And he's like, I won't hurt you. And then it almost immediately slaps her for not giving him information.
Yeah.
The movie's a little bit sexist, just a little bit. Kind of background base level sexist. When our leading lady enters the lab and just like immediately faints for some reason. I don't even remember why she was fainting. She faints a lot in this movie. But she does that, and then as soon as the professor brings her into the lab, and the head of the lab just goes, why don't you give her a shot? And when I heard that, I was like, wait, they're just gonna shoot her up with something? What the fuck do you mean? And then they bring her a shot of liquor. And I was like, what? That actually somehow makes less sense to me. I didn't actually write down that last quote, but we talked about it before. It wasn't good enough to be worth actually full on quoting.
Mm-hmm.
Any last things from you, Haru? I've got a couple more, but I want to give you a turn.
Honestly, I think we've covered everything I had on this film.
Cool. I'll just do some little tiny things here there. When they first come to our leading lady, again, whose name I just cannot remember. I think it's like Chikasa or something like that. They encounter her while she's still in bed, and she's like, can I put some clothes on, please? And they're like, okay. But then one of the fucking policemen is like starting to peek on her before the other policeman is like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
And like I really was like, oh, is this gonna be like cops are bastards kind of deal? And then like it only kind of was. It was weird. There were several moments where it was like, oh, cops are bastard, and then like at the end it's just kind of like, oh, cops are good guys, I guess. Part of the soundtrack of this film involves a lot of weird boing, boing, boing sounds. I don't know if that was picking up through Discord there, Haru, but like weird little boing sounds, high pitched boing sounds in the soundtrack. And I don't understand their purpose. They just sound
Not
weird.
sure if I heard those or not. Like when we were watching the movie.
Yeah, they were very prevalent in the beginning of the movie. It's just like they're just part of the soundtrack. It's just like boing, boing. The slow chase scene is another one. We talked about that already, but like, I need to emphasize how bad this chase scene is because, like, again, they're going at like 10 miles an hour. The chase scene ends with like the front car being stopped by a big truck that got in the way. And then that causes the car that our professor is in chasing them, which is just a cab, like you follow that car kind of deal, to crash into that. And it crashes so hard that it knocks out the driver and cracks the windshield. But the other car is perfectly fine, not even a scratch on it. And it just drives away because all of a sudden that dump truck that was in the way is no longer there at all. It's just gone. Very strange. Did you notice the product placement from Mitsubishi Super Gasoline?
Uh,
They have the Mitsubishi brand gasoline for all your H-men destroying needs. And then one last thing that really shows how the ending of this movie is just not really well thought out at all. So they're pouring gasoline into the sewers and lighting it on fire. So our leading man is going through, our Mr. Professor is going through the sewers to find the leading lady who has been kidnapped by the evil man. And how does he find his way in the sewer? How does he find his way, Haru?
Breadcrumbs.
No. No, he has a lighter. He's using a lighter to see by in the sewers that are full of gasoline.
Oh my god.
Did you know that
I
gasoline
didn't even notice that.
has this thing called fumes? You cannot be doing that.
Oh god.
Dog. Like, come on. I do love, though, that the villain is just downed by the H-men just randomly splorting all over him. The goo men really do morb all over everyone.
Yeah.
Nothing is very cathartic in this movie. There's like no catharsis at all. And yeah, then we just end with the triumphant music as Tokyo burns to the ground yet again. What a strange ending. All right, I'm done with this one, I think.
Me too.
As I said, next time we are watching Varan. We're watching the Japanese version, and then we will be watching the American dub and added scenes in the next episode after that. So it's going to be another double episode of Varan. Look forward to it because we finally get to see another guy in a suit movie. Well, I guess this one is a guy in a suit too. It's a giant guy in a suit though. Miniatures. Yippee. Although we will be also going back to black and white, so that's not as fun. Unfortunate. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Why don't you go on down to thempodian or any podcast app of your choice and find this Find this podcast and recommend it to all your friends. Share that link to them. Send it to them and tell them you won't be their friend anymore if they don't listen to or watch this podcast. It's the only way for podcasts to grow. You have to hold your friendship hostage.
Yeah.
And you want it to grow because otherwise it won't exist.
Make this podcast the only thing you ever talk about when you're with your friends.
Legally speaking, it is the only podcast you can listen to. So get on it. Haru, where can people find you?
I am Haru Hayes. I'm a puppy girl VTuber. You can find me on Blue Sky and Twitch. On Blue Sky, I am haru.vspire.live. On Twitch, I am Haru Hayes. And also, quick little announcement on my part. I am hoping to get back into doing YouTube content, like YouTube exclusive. So if anyone is interested in that, I do have a YouTube channel. Go subscribe to it. It's just I believe it's just Haru Hayes.
I think that's right.
Yeah, go check it out.
You should be able to find it by searching Haru Hayes at the very least.
Yeah.
And I, of course, am Thempire Iain. You can find me on like 7 million different YouTube channels and one Twitch channel, which you can all find on my website, thempireian.neocities.org. Are you ready to say goodbye to the H-men?
Yeah.
Sayonara, H-men.
Sayonara, H-men.
I'm really glad that they were liquid people and not the other kind of H-men, you know what I'm saying?